where land meets water, an invitation lingers, not just between elements, but between versions of yourself. You could remain on shore, where it's safe, familiar, predictable, or you could cross into the unknown. I'm Shannon Keegan, and this is Stories from the Water, where we dive into the courage it takes to begin, the resilience that keeps us moving forward, and the wisdom that only emerges in the space between. All right. Awesome. I'm here today with Brian in New Zealand on his birthday. Happy birthday, Brian.
Thank you.
Tell me, what's your story?
Well, gosh, I don't really know where to start. I think probably the first big swim or swim of note that I remember is in my last year at school. We had this crazy teacher who came up with a crazy idea that a group of boys should, because I was at a boys' school, should swim the length of one of our lakes here, Lake Taupo, and then ride around it and then run around it. And
Wow.
everyone sort of thought it was a bit nuts. So it's 40k long and 160k around. And we did it, and it was really enjoyable. And that's when I learned that what other people think is hard and what you think is hard is actually totally different. Being inside the event, there was really nothing to think about. You just did it. And so I learned a lot from that. And I've kept in touch with that teacher as well. And it's, given him a lot of recognition for the inspiration he's given me in life.
How old were you?
17.
Wow. And how
I
many of
was.
there were you that were just like, okay, yeah,
We
okay, I'm going to go swim 40K?
well, it was in relay.
Oh, got it. Okay. That
Yeah.
helps. I was like, wow, 40K is your first swim out of the gate.
Yeah, and it's funny hearing about afterwards all the flack that he got in the staff room about, oh, it's too dangerous, you can't do that. And, all the behind the scenes things that you hear about 40 years later.
Right.
Um, yeah, and then I didn't really do much swimming because I wasn't really a swimmer. Well, I wasn't a swimmer. That was just something that we did. Although I think that was a good foundation because we did quite a bit of training for that for a year. And then I didn't get swimming again until I was mid-20s, came back from living in London, and I'd gotten a bit chubby. My cousin suggested I might join swim squads. I'd never done squads before. So I went along and did the old hour a day, 3 days a week, and did that for another 25 years, I guess, before things got spicy. But during that time, there's lots of events lots of swim events. So open water races, usually every weekend here in Auckland.
Oh, wow.
And there's also weekly events. So there's a couple that have for 16 weeks over summer, race every Thursday, one of the ones that I do. So there's a lot to do. And I kind of ramped up a bit. I did, 3K open water swims. And then one day, I just decided that I wanted to do a little bit more. And there was a guy in my swim squad who he'd just joined because he wanted to swim this Lake Taupo himself, so 40K.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, that sounds quite good. So I started training with him and had a crack at that. And I was like, again, totally naive, which is a bit of a theme in my life. So I picked a day 3 months in advance and rang up a trout fishing guide who took people out on the lakes. Lake Taupo is quite famous for trout fishing. Picked a date 3 months in advance, no window or anything like that. It was just that day, and got some workmates and had a crack at it. Not successful, but it was amazing. We started off early in the morning, and when the sun came up, the lake. I was just out in the middle of the lake, and it was like a mirror. It was just glass, and I just got this incredibly euphoric feeling. I think that's what really got me hooked. It was an amazing experience, um, and it was a great day. We had a little inflatable boat, feed boat next to me, and everyone else just spent the day going out fishing. Like they take off. They got six trout, and they come back to me every couple of hours and do a shift change and then take off again and go fishing. But uh, the lake's also a bit famous for it has this afternoon wind, which rips in, and in the space of 10 minutes, the lake went from being nice and flat to 1 meter swells.
Oh my gosh.
And the little feed boat I had folded in half, and I thought I'd just keep on swimming and that they'd catch up with me. That's also a theme. Um, and I actually got lost in the middle of the lake because it was so rough.
Oh
They
my
couldn't
gosh.
they couldn't see me.
Oh my goodness.
And fortunately, Phil, who takes people on the Cook Cook Strait, he was there about to take a swimmer the next day, and he found me. Everyone was a bit worried. I
Oh
felt
my
fine. Like
God.
I wasn't worried or anything. That's also a theme. But uh, we canned that because my speed got down. I was going about 1.5 k an hour just because it was so tough, and everyone was throwing up.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was I was throwing up. Um,
So tell me,
it
help me.
was
A couple things. I want to come back to this, but so Phil finds you. You're just out there swimming,
yeah.
and Phil just was like, but like some people got put on alert to like go look for you. Is that what happened?
No, he was just
Oh,
heading down the lake because he had a swimmer the next day,
oh, goodness.
and
Like,
he saw this boat out there, um and so he came to say hello and saw what I was missing. And
oh my goodness. Wow.
yeah, I've never actually talked to him about that. I reckon he would have been a bit pissed, but yeah, and like I learned a big lesson there. I think it's really good to have a failure.
Y- Yeah. Great.
Um, is good introspection. And also I learned that if your crew's not happy, I can't really do it. I think of myself as a little kid, and if people are coming to help you, I think that's pretty amazing to start off with. They're giving up their
Oh
weekend. I mean, they got a few trout out of it. There's something,
my.
um, but they've given up their weekend, and everyone was there throwing up. I felt very responsible for that.
Yeah.
Um, so that so we chucked that one in. I went back next year and did it, and it was that went pretty well. I was tired at the end, but we just my cousin had a boat, and so we used that, and I'd gotten a bit more involved in the swim community. There's an amazing swim community here in New Zealand.
Wow.
Um, there's one um, messenger chat group, and literally every swimmer in New Zealand is on it. And
Wow.
so we all chat, and there's this amazing guy, Mike Cochran, who provides trackers for everyone. So anyone who's doing a swim, he gives them a tracker, and then the link gets put on this chat group, and everyone looks at everyone's swim.
Wow.
It's so cool. It's like yesterday there was two swimmers doing the Cook Strait, not from New Zealand, and
Yeah.
then the day before there was four people.
Wow.
So
Oh my
over
goodness.
summer, your work, the amount of work you get done drops quite a bit because you're just looking at people swimming all around the country, and everyone's offering encouragement. It's so cool. Like it's a small community, but well, you know what it's like. Swimmers are the best people, I think.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree. Take me back to how you went from, we'll come back to this, but you went from 25 years of 3 times a week, 3K a day to
Yeah.
deciding. You kind of said there was maybe somebody that was doing it and that like put a bug in your ear, but like there's got to be some kind of something happens there to,
Yeah. Something I got fascinated because I went from my longest swim was 10K in a wetsuit, and I swim really pretty good in a wetsuit. And then when I take that off, my abilities plummet somewhat. So I went from swimming 10K, and then my next swim was a 40K.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, okay. I know
This,
people, I
this is
hear about
also
people like you.
a theme in life. um, yeah, so, but I got involved in the swim community after that failure. Like people
Mm.
got alerted that I was there, and so you get brought into the fold. And I got a chance to swim with and train in the weekends with some really amazing people. And as I say, they're so welcoming.
Hmm.
And I got amazed by there's this guy, John O'Riddler, who did this 100K ocean swim. And he opened my eyes about what's possible,
Hmm.
not just in terms of the events that you do, but also the training. So he'd go out and just do training swims at 2 a.m. for 4 or 5 hours. It's like, oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
So I'm from the school of you do it till you break it, son. So I'm wanting to try and find my limits,
Hmm.
which I'm still investigating,
Hmm.
you could say. Yeah, so I don't know, where did we get to? We did
Well,
the
you were saying how you got brought into the fold after that kind of getting lost
yeah,
incident. And
yeah. Yeah.
like, we got to keep an eye on this guy.
Well, they're just so inclusive and wanting to welcome and help anyone.
Hmm.
And so I think, that's where they found that I existed. And yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. And like the community is so strong here because New Zealand, it's such an incredibly beautiful place. I get blown away every day um, on how stunning it is. And I can't believe I live here.
It's amazing. That's awesome for somebody
Yeah,
born and raised.
yeah. And so being out, like I live close to the water, and I can just walk down and you swim out a couple 100 meters, and you're surrounded by this absolute beauty. Like the harbour here it's amazing,
Wow.
and it's so nice to be part of it. You know,
Hmm.
have that be part of your life, and a calming effect, and the appreciation that you get. That's one thing that swimming gives me, is just appreciation
Hmm.
for life and for my body, for health.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just feel so fortunate to be here because it's amazing.
I'm training for a 50-mile swim this year, but this isn't just about distance. Every stroke teaches me something new about moving efficiently through the water, trust, and resilience. I want to share these lessons with you. Want to explore them together? Join me at the water's edge, my virtual community where everything changes. Hesitation meets courage, comfort meets challenge, potential becomes movement, and individual meets community. Tap the join link in the show notes. Yeah, so no plans to run off to one of these silly swims in the US or anything?
I'd really like to do Manhattan.
Mm. Talk
It's
about
it's
probably the opposite of New Zealand, but beautiful in a different way.
yeah, it's the one swim that stands out to me. It's funny how something just pops into your head,
Yeah,
and
the
that's
nicest.
the only swim that pops into my head overseas. I've got no interest. I really like the idea of seeing what your swim style is like,
Mm.
and then designing a swim to suit you.
Mm.
And so that's what I did after Taupo, because Taupo's quite brutal. It's 40K, and like it's a bit like a channel swim in some respects. You see something at the start and you see something at the end, but in the middle there isn't really much, which I find a bit demotivating
Mm-hmm.
or a lot demotivating. When you do Taupo, halfway down, there's this featureless round island, and behind it is featureless sort of horizon.
Hmm.
And you spend 2 hours going past it. So I heard you say you like to mark everything or break it down in terms of time, which I totally agree with, rather than distance.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you swim past that island, if you're distance thinking, then for 2 hours you haven't moved. It's
Right.
literally
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
But if you say, all right, I'm doing a 14-hour swim,
Mm-hmm.
then 1 hour always happens. There's nothing you can do to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I approach swim now, I sort of say, okay, I'm swimming for this long, and then we'll see where we are at the end. We might be at the finish, we might not be,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a really good way of making it digestible in your mind, because swimming is all about the mind, I think. And the longer the swim, the less it's about the swim. Like the swimming is almost irrelevant. You could be walking.
Yeah.
You've got your logistics, you've got the weather, you've got your nutrition. If you've got those sorted, then really it's just about the mind, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so my next swim is I designed one that suited me. So I like to see movement. I like to go past stuff. And I don't like the cold. I did have an incident earlier this season where I just about drowned. I got hypothermia and things stopped working. I got the old claw hand.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I wasn't moving through the water, and then water was coming in my mouth, and I literally thought I was going to die,
Oh
which
my
is quite
gosh.
an interesting experience.
Were
That
you?
also helps with appreciation.
Yes, right. Yeah. Were you by
So,
yourself?
I was swimming with others, and then we got to turn around to the turnaround point, and I knew I was cold, so I turned around and went back, whereas everyone else waited for the others.
Mm.
Um, it's quite interesting. You can be with others, and you can be 20 meters away and not know what on earth's going on.
Yeah.
And so I headed into the shore because I was, obviously out in the ocean. I swim through winter without a wetsuit, and I don't like it,
Mm.
but I do it. And so I swim back in, and there's people walking all along the waterfront, and there you are, just about drowning. It's
Oh my
it's quite
gosh.
weird. It was a very surreal experience. It wasn't scary at all.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
it felt natural, and you can see why people just want to relax and stop.
Mm.
Like that would have been the natural thing to do, and that's the inclination was to do that.
Yeah.
But I had things to do, so
Kept you going.
yeah. Um, yeah, I didn't find it scary or anything. It was quite a beautiful experience.
Hmm. Like you said,
Yeah.
helps with appreciation.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, my next swim, as I say, I designed it to be warm again. So that was an ocean. We've got this island in the harbour here called Waiheke. That was a 55K swim around that, and no one had ever done it. I like doing firsts as well. So that was just amazing experience. The water was flat, and I started at 4 in the morning, and there was bioluminescence. It was
Oh, wow. Neat.
just magnificent. And again, the sun came up, and it was like a mirror. It was a bit complicated from an organizational perspective because I'd asked someone, he said, yeah, I can help, but I got people coming around in the afternoon. So he helped for 6 hours, and then I had another boat for 6 hours, and then another boat for six
Oh
hours.
my gosh. They're like
So
passing your feeds over or...
yes, yeah. So I had an observer who was with me the whole way, but he was jumping ship, as it were, because
Wow.
I'm a bit of a tight ass. I don't like the idea of having to pay for all these swims. That's
Mm.
pretty expensive. And you can if you can help if you can ask people for help, which I hate doing.
Yeah, right there with you. It's
It's
hard to
quite
ask for help.
yeah, for yourself it is. Like I do these swims for charity, and I have absolutely no problem walking down the street and asking people for money, but asking someone to help you, that's a totally different experience.
Tell me about the charity that you swim for.
It's called Starship Children's Hospital, and so it's the National Children's Hospital, and um, they don't get anywhere near enough government funding. So if they want new equipment and things like that, that's 100% funded by donations. And so that's around Waikiki I started, and then my next one I also did for them. Um,
You should
yeah,
think of it as you're asking for help. I mean, they're helping you get raise money for the charity, so it's not that they're helping you; they're helping the charity. So it's not asking for
yes,
help for you.
yeah, that's right, and that is what you do.
Mhm.
Um, and that I am appreciative that they're making the swim possible as
Mhm.
well. Yeah. Um, yeah, so that swim, that Waiheke swim, that was so good. I felt
So,
really I felt really good at the end of it. Um, Not tired or anything like that. And I had to stop because, we finished. But
one of these stories, I can't remember, it was way back in the early days. Somebody said that yeah, like finishing a marathon swim was like, like reading a good book. Like you don't want it to end.
it
I
was
feel like that's
totally
a
like
mark
that.
of a good swim. It's like if you can
Yeah.
actually get on the boat, be like, oh my gosh, it's over. I don't want it to be over.
Yeah. Well, the next one, I had to have, it's a negotiation process because I've got kids, so I have to have a year off.
Ah,
So well, I say a year of not um, spending my mornings away on the weekend swimming or going away helping other people swim, observing and things like that. Um, so as soon as I'd finished that Waiheke swim, I had a swim pop in my head, and that was to swim down the Wanganui River, which is where the town I was born. And my motivation for that is my dad had passed away, and he loved his history and he loved that river. He worked at the Wanganui Museum, and he also worked on the Wanganui riverboat, volunteering his time. So that was his passion. And he died before I found distance swimming as
mm,
my passion. And I really miss him. So I wanted to combine my passion with his passion by swimming
yeah,
down his river. It
very
sounds a
cool.
bit
I love
corny,
that.
but that was where I was at. So um, I went and did a recce there and found out it was actually a little bit complicated. It was colder than I wanted and no cell phone coverage, and you need a jet boat because there's lots of rapids.
Wow.
So I thought, well, if I can't do this 80K swim, what do I do? And so I decided to do another river, which was 150K. That's the sort of marathon mindset. Well, I can't do that one, so
I'll just double it.
I'll just double it. Yeah, and it was the most incredible experience. It really was. I have a friend of mine put a post in one of the local Facebook groups for where the swim starts. And this lady answered and said, yeah, my husband will help because I was looking for a small feed boat.
Hmm.
And so we met up and sized each other up, did a practice swim, and that worked out well. And so he got his brother in on the gig and workmates. And at my end, I'd organised some old friends that have got a boat. So that was going to be the big boat and my brother-in-law and another swim mate. And we had this team, and the when the time came to do it, we all turned up at this guy's house, and it was just this some sort of magic going on. We there was this electric buzz in the air, and it just grew and grew. We all met each other for the first time, and the energy was just incredible. And so the next day we got up and headed off for the start. And the idea was that the small boat would go up. It starts at a dam. It's the longest section, so from a dam down to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an extra person in the boat, and the engine wasn't strong enough to
Oh
take us
no.
up because it's actually quite complicated. The last 20k of the river is quite tidal,
Mm.
and so you need to hit it at the right time. So we were an hour late starting, but it was just beautiful. It was a lovely, lovely day, and quite eventful. So as we went down, we halfway down, we kind of ran out of water.
Kind of.
The big boat was screaming along, and then it got a bit shallow for it. And so we were down to one boat. I'm sort of going over quite a bit of ground. This was after we'd been swimming for I don't know, like 14 hours or so.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because we had two shifts of two people. So
Mhm.
they were in this small 3.5 meter boat. I don't know what's that, about 10, 11 foot boat.
Mhm.
I'd done all sorts of swims along the river to try and work out how long it was going to take. But I hadn't done this middle section
Mhm.
to realize that there wasn't actually that much water.
Mm.
Um, so we ran out of water, and that's a little bit dramatic. There wasn't enough for this big boat, and
Uh-huh.
as I say, they ran aground and just spent the night sleeping on this boat. So we started at 9 in the morning, and so this was by night time, and all of a sudden, I had both shifts in this tiny little boat. I saw them there. I didn't ask any questions, and they were all cramped up. So we swam through the night. Occasionally, they'd have to get out. You just swim down a channel, and they'd at the end of the channel, they'd have to pull it through to the next channel.
Mm.
So it was all sorts of fun things that you don't really hear about
Are
until
you able to
afterwards.
keep swimming while they're dealing with a boat situation, or you're
Well, yeah, it's the old story of I just swim off and I hope they catch up with me, which they did, except for there was one incident at 5 in the morning. I just gotten direction, keep the bank on your right, they said,
hmm
and they had to pull the boat into another channel, and somehow we got split up, and I swam upstream for an hour. I'm
Oh
not
my God.
really sure how that happened.
Whoa.
It was quite foggy by that stage, and if
Oh,
you
I see.
shine a light in the fog, you just see the fog and
Exactly. Yeah.
absolutely nothing. So I was swimming upstream, and I knew there was something wrong, but you know, when you've been going for so long, my brain doesn't work well at the best of times.
Yeah. So how
Um,
long has it been at this time that it's 5 in the
uh,
morning? Been
well,
and you
that
started at
was five.
9. So you're
We
coming up
started at
on
9 in the morning. Yeah.
20 some odd hours.
So I swam up, and then I came back down again because it had been quite a while, and then I swam up again. Then I swam back down. So we were apart for quite a while, but then fortunately, I realized I was going the wrong way.
How
So
did
I
you
thought,
know?
oh well, because I was going against the current.
Oh gosh, got it.
But I thought that, like, I thought I'd gotten to this section where there were lots of islands at the lower bit. And so I thought, oh, they're getting me to go around an island or something like that. But I didn't know where the hell I was. I mean, they had the GPS.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't, obviously. Um, so then I started swimming back down again. Thought, well, I'll just have to find a house.
Mm.
Um,
Are
because
you starving? Like, are you hungry?
no,
No?
no, no. Um, but fortunately, they managed to find me just at the right time, and we carried on like nothing had
Oh my
happened.
goodness. Like, but by the way,
Um,
this way, and you just kept going.
yeah, yep. And yeah, so we just kept on going, and then fortunately things got a little bit deeper, and um, someone was able to get the big boat and join us again
You just
further on
trailer
down.
it around the shallow part.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so we just, just kept on swimming. I think we finished at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or
Wow.
something. But that was getting out. That felt like a real downer because the whole thing, it was just such an utter adventure. I'd class it as an adventure before above classing it as a swim.
Yeah,
It
sounds
was
like
just
it.
such a buzz, and it was just a downer getting out. I didn't want it to finish because the feeling of camaraderie between everyone, it was a real adventure. It had the mystery, it had the ups and downs, it had the bonding, a bit of
Wow.
sleep deprivation thrown in there. I, you know, no one had ever done this before either.
Wow.
Um, and so it was just a total unknown. And it was really, some of the guys are saying it's the best thing they've ever done in their life. It
Oh
was
my
one of the
gosh.
best things I've ever done. So
See, it's a good thing you asked for help.
yeah,
Making
yeah, it
memories
was.
for everyone.
And now they're going, oh, okay, what are we doing next? And we've had a get together after that. This only happened 5 weeks ago,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so
so
you're
it's
still
still
on a
pretty
high.
fresh. Yeah, it was a real buzz. So that's that's the longest swim that anyone's done in New Zealand as
Wow.
well, which a bit of a cheat, floating down a river. But I'm an old man, so I'll take it. I'm still on an absolute high. I really am.
Isn't it
Just
amazing how that, and it just kind of, so how many hours was it total? 30.
that was 31 hours,
Wow.
and I felt great. I really didn't want to finish. I
My
wasn't
goodness.
I wasn't tired or anything like that. Um, but it's hard to know what your pace is at the end of it. Like you definitely slow down a lot as you swim. Um, but I, I, I reckon I would have been good for overnight. I think.
Another night. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
How
Yeah.
did you do any special preparation or anything knowing, I mean, you didn't know how long it would be exactly, it was 100, I mean, like duration wise, but like you knew there was probably going to be an overnight. Like, do you do anything to prepare for sleep deprivation or anything like that?
I don't think you can. You just have to make sure the night before is a good sleep.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
advice.
but I totally changed the way I was trained. I changed everything.
Tell us.
Um, yeah, so for my training, I got so scientific
Mm,
reading up. I literally spent hours a day listening to podcasts and reading scientific journals and on YouTube and things like that. Um, and I know everyone's different. That's definitely one thing I've found out, but I've really honed in what works for me, and that is I would do swimming 3 times a day on Monday and Wednesdays.
mm,
And then the next day I would just have a super easy day. I'd do gym and just a real, like, only a 2K swim. And pay huge attention to my HRV. If it says that I'm doing too much, then I just don't do anything
mm,
to make sure that I'm not overdoing it. But I wanted to just get that stimulation because there's 3 things you can do. You can change your frequency, your intensity, and your duration, and that's it.
mhm. Yeah, exactly.
If you up your intensity, then the other two you have to cut back. So I do with the squad, I do 2 hard sessions a week, and that was it. All the rest I just do super easy. And then Fridays I'd swim twice, and then Saturday and Sunday I usually swim between 12 and 16K,
Wow.
but just do like zone 1 So normally my zone 2 is 135 heart rate, but I do those weekend swims just trying to keep my average below 110.
Hmm.
Because if you swim hard, you can't swim very far. It's like a
Yeah.
sprinter can sprint, you know, 20 seconds real hard. A marathon runner can do much further, but they have to go slower.
Hmm.
But I think there is another gear. There's the ultra distance runner. They can't go as fast as a marathon runner because they wouldn't last. So my idea is that you just go as easy as you can, and then you can go long.
Hmm.
So that's what I was training. So high frequency, high volume, but very, very easy swimming. And like I say, everyone's different, but that's what worked for me. And my average heart rate for that big swim was 115. So I think that's what I'm going to carry on doing. And my nutrition, I tried going a bit more natural.
Hmm.
The gels work really well for me, but it's I don't think it's very healthy. In fact, I think it's very unhealthy. It's just so convenient and works
Yeah.
so well. So I was having kumara, which is the the moldy sweet potato,
Mm.
which worked for 10 hours, and then that all came up again. And so I was back on the gels.
So wait, you had 10 hours of sweet potatoes? Is that what I heard?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But I also I train a lot for swimming fasted. So I quite happily
Fasted. Mm-hmm.
not have breakfast and swim around the harbour for 4 hours
Mm.
and not get hungry, get out and not be hungry. And um, that works really, really well for me, I think. So having training fasted and swimming slow means that um, I'm using a lot of fat.
Hmm.
And of course, you've got unlimited fat stores. It's just a matter of whether you can oxidize it fast enough to propel you. And if you're swimming slow, then the demand is low.
Right. I think the water too plays such an interesting part in it, right? Like on both,
Yeah.
like you were talking about running, but I think, yeah, the water makes such a big difference for, um, well, I think everything, even
Hmm.
from how much your heart rate goes up and how much you need to put in and how much you need to eat. And yeah, that's
You're
interesting
talking
though.
about temperature.
No, well, I mean, temperature is a whole nother dimension of it. No, but I just mean that it mostly, I guess, and this is different for everybody too, but for me, like the water holds me up. So I
Mm,
just need to push it behind me.
right.
So if I'm optimizing my technique, so that's what I train for is for swimming to be as easy as possible
Mm,
versus training for like fighting through the water and I don't know, and being able to fight through it longer.
yeah.
So, anyway, it's interesting to hear the amount that you were training and the how you focus on heart rate for determining what you could did or didn't maybe do on the back of swimming. Um,
Mm.
but
So I
the
was training about 25 hours a week, not just swimming, like doing all sorts of things. Because I think um, energy flows a thing. If you put constant demand, then your body keeps on producing that, gets natural. Like I'm self-diagnosed ADHD. I
Mm.
can never sit still. I'm always up doing the lawns or cooking dinner or mopping the floor. It drives my wife a bit crazy, but the house is always tidy.
That's a great.
Yes. So I just make sure that I'm always exercising.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm,
that's I've gone into swims where I'm like, okay, maybe I haven't done everything I thought that I could to prepare for this, but it's like I know that I'm never sitting still like watching TV for 8 hours or whatever,
yeah.
two or one. So it's like I feel like, yeah, just the constant motion and yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
hear
And
that.
I don't worry about anything either. So,
I can tell.
you know, over Christmas we all went away together and 2 weeks without swimming, and no, it doesn't bother me at all. You know, swimming. Fitness is different from endurance. They're
Mm.
totally, totally separate. Like you can
Mm.
get fit in 6 weeks, but endurance takes years and years and years. So, if you can't swim for a bit, then I don't think it's a big deal.
Hmm. Yeah. How old are your kids?
My youngest is 16 and my daughter's 18 now, so she's left home. My boy's his last year at school will be next year, so
Mm.
next year's my year off.
Yeah.
I was going to say self-imposed, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to think up something else to do. But I, being from the do it till you break it, son, school of thought, I'd still want to investigate that. I've I like the idea of going for 48 hours next time.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think sleep is your ultimate stopper
Yeah.
because you have to.
Kind of seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I am conscious that I'm getting a bit older now, and unfortunately I started all this a bit late, but um, I still give the young fellas what for. I do a lot of um, shorter racing now
Mhm.
as well, and I've
Okay.
just noticed the difference. So that Thursday um, series at a local beach here
Hmm.
is just a 2K, 1K out and back, and I just noticed a huge difference in my swimming
Mm.
from the increased volume, and I do pretty well nowadays in a wetsuit. Swim a lot better in a wetsuit, as I was saying before.
Yeah.
Mm,
What have you, has there been any kind of life lessons that you've learned from the water, from these taking on these big challenges?
yes, I just such an appreciation for life and for people, and I kind of treat life like we're living in a simulation. If you do, then you can live by different rules. Like if you're playing a game, you can do whatever you want in that game.
Yeah.
And so that's how I've been approaching all these all these swims now. That you make up your own rules.
You get to pick your part. Yeah. Write your
Yeah,
own into your story.
yeah. Like who's saying what's possible? You
Exactly.
know,
I love that.
it's like I've got a friend that they've got a kid who did this fundraiser and they were swimming a mile every hour for 24 hours.
Hmm.
And he was looking for sponsorship, and people were saying, "Oh, this is amazing. This is so hard what you're doing, and you're incredible." And I was thinking, that's the worst thing to say to someone, that this is hard. I mean,
Right. Yeah. To
it's
tell them
kind of
that in advance.
cruel.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You're going to suffer. And that got back to me of my schoolboy days of everyone was saying that's hard. But
Hmm.
I'd learned the lesson that, you when you're on the inside, it's a different story. And, don't take advice from people like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of the cool side of the swim community that we've got. They're just so supportive and
Hmm.
telling you can do stuff as opposed to you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you apply that in your day to day? Just like kind of the limitlessness that you enable and empower yourself with in the water. Are you able to apply that in your, I don't know, your life, your work, or
I've
anything else?
certainly got that hypo nature in life. I've got so many different hobbies
Hmm.
that I do, but in my work life, it's more that um, I do all that so I can swim, as
Hmm.
opposed to, what does it live to work or work to live?
Hmm.
I definitely work to live. I'm not interested in working more. Hopefully, my boss isn't listening to this. I'm supposed to be working now.
It's your
Um,
birthday. You get to
Yeah,
tell your
yeah,
story today.
yeah, that's right. Um, yeah, no, I definitely do a lot more. I'd like to do even more. Like,
Hmm.
um, my kids don't have this approach to life, unfortunately. I'm always wanting to try and drag them out and give them the appreciation of the beauty of nature, but
Yeah.
they're not very interested.
It's an interesting thing. I find that with my kids too. I'm like, there's some things that we have this appreciation because we've lived long enough
Yeah,
to gain it, whereas our kids are gonna figure it out when they figure it out. We can hope.
yeah. Like I went walking this morning. I take the dogs out along the waterfront every morning and night. And as I say, you just as soon as you hit the water, it's like, wow, I can't believe it. This is just so beautiful. And I want my kids to be there, but I can't get them out of bed.
Right.
It's like, you should be experiencing the beauty of life because, it doesn't exist on your computer, and
Right. Yeah.
that's a source of frustration for me.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Oh man, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Brian.
Thank
I
you.
look
I
forward to
really,
hearing
really
about your.
enjoy your podcast.
Oh, that's kind. I look forward to hearing what you get up to next. We'll have to have you back because it sounds like in a couple of years after your boy's done with school, you'll be back at it.
Do it till you break it, son.
That's right. That's right. I love that. Thanks so much for spending part of your day here listening to stories from the water. I know there are thousands of things vying for your time and attention, so the fact that you choose to be here, to tune in to these voices, these experiences, truly means a lot. Stories help us understand ourselves, connect with others, and make sense of this wild, beautiful world. They're more than entertainment. They're lifelines. They're bridges. And sometimes they're the spark that keeps us moving forward. If this episode spoke to you, if it made you feel something or see things differently, I'd love it if you left a review on your podcast provider or shared it with someone who might need it too. That's how these stories ripple out and reach the people who need them most. Until next time, take care, and thanks for listening.